Hi friends, this is the Be Real Babe podcast, a place where your average Canadian wolfpack come together to talk about life stresses, messes, and successes. A safe space where being yourself is the ultimate goal. Each week we will bring you new episodes sharing our opinions on a ton of different topics in hopes we can get a better understanding of ourselves, each other, and this crazy world we live in. We want to build a community where we can show up as ourselves, be real, and lay it all out there. By sharing our opinions and experiences, we hope to reach others who can relate so we can all help each other learn, grow, and heal. But please keep in mind, as a disclaimer, none of us here are professionals. No one is giving any advice. We are strictly speaking of our life experiences, our opinions, and for entertainment purposes only. Now, with that being said, it's time. So grab your drink, grab your joint, and let's jump right in. Welcome to the Be Real Babe podcast. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by the show today. We hope that you have a good time. And if you're a returning listener, watcher, supporter, thank you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts for coming back time and time again. For those that don't know me, my name is Brandy. I am the host of the show, and today you guys are on episode 161, Keeping Up with Canada, part 4. Can you believe it, you guys? We have talked about Canada and keeping up with what the fuck is going on in this crazy ass country for 4 months now. Started in September, October, November, and now December. Also, how are we in December 2023? Like, do you guys remember at the beginning of the pandemic, like 2019, you thought about like 2023 and that sounded like so long ago. And sometimes it felt like it took forever to get here. But at the same time, I feel like I'm in this like time warp. I don't know. Time is not real. That is what she's seen on the plane. She's seen time. It is not real. I figured it out. But anyways, guys, we're talking about UBI today, Universal Basic Income, and we're talking about the homelessness condition in Canada because, y'all, it is not great. Now, we like to talk about things that are happening in our country and trying to keep up because we think it's a little bit more important to keep up with Canada than it is to keep up with the Kardashians because this actually affects us and people that we know and in our everyday lives. Everyone is struggling. So many people can probably say they're 1 or 2 paychecks away from being homeless or having to move in with somebody. Plenty of singles having to move in with families, people having to get roommates or several of them. Hell, people in Toronto are even renting out part of their beds. Like, what the fuck? So, of course, the government just wants to throw some money at some people, probably, hopefully, and that'll just solve all the problems, right? Just like CERB did. Anyways, guys, things that we think are important to probably talk about. We don't know anything about it. We're just learning about it, but we just wanted to put it out there and have our honest talk with what we know so far. But I am sure tons more is going to come out about this as this goes through the House of Commons because these are in bills and not bills to pass it to calm that conspiracy, bills to build the framework. But that is just step one. So it's like, why would we pay them to build a framework and then for it to just not work out? Like, chances are they're probably going to pick this up if it goes through, and they're probably going to use our tax dollars because where the fuck do we even know where? Anyways, leave it for the episode. But before we get on to this episode, I just want to remind you, if you are watching on YouTube, Rumble, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Comment for engagement if you can. We really appreciate when you comment and message us, guys. It really helps let us know that we are doing things that you guys like and in the right direction. And if you are listening to Apple or Spotify, you can also turn on those notification bells, and you could also leave a little review. They're super appreciated. We've seen everyone, and we thank you guys who have so much. And if you guys want to follow us on social media, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at the Be Real Babe podcast. We are always over there if you want to chat to us, bring up topics. If you want to be on a show yourself, we're always more than welcome to have you as a guest on our show. We are just winding down, kind of. We've got about 2 months left of the season. I can't even believe it. We're over the halfway mark and on the end. We'll take a little break for the month of February, and then we'll get started on season 7. Season 7 in March. Holy crap. Time flies when you're having a good time. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for the support. As always, make sure to reach out, share the love, and let us know that you guys enjoy what we're doing. Well, that's all I'm going to fucking rumble on. Let's get on to the show. All right, babes, it's time to get on to the show. And with me today in studio is my beautiful co-host, Kales. Hey, Kales?
It's Sunday.
I need to go to bed. Guys,
Don't
I think
worry.
that sickness,
Kale.
Kill.
I'll take it.
I'm just gonna bring you two together as one. Just merge everyone together. Guys, I'm having it crazy. I think the reason why today is so hard is because when you're sick and then you don't get anything done and then you start to feel
Oh,
better, but then you have one day to cram everything in before the week
your
starts.
brain's trying to like
That's kind of where I was at today. I was like, oh, I feel so
misfiring.
good. And then I was like doing all the things because I didn't do anything for like 3 days straight. Didn't really leave the house. And then the jag today,
Your brain's
whatever.
jagging.
Yeah.
It's just steaming
It's
a
just
little. It's
steaming.
okay.
Yeah. Like the whole thing is just shutting down. Anyways, fuck. I was going to wear a Christmas outfit too, but then I washed this sweater and my sweatpants and they just looks, when you just have like
It
fresh.
looks so comfy.
Yeah, and you just get out of the shower and you're just like, fresh sweatpants. Like it's that time of year.
Done.
Yeah, it's that. It
Yes.
feels like it's December, but it's not quite. It's at that like
Amen.
end of November where time just is going to start going faster and faster until Christmas time, and then it just stops, and then you don't know.
It's weird. Me and my day home lady were talking. They had pajama day last Friday, and seeing all the kids in their cute little pajamas running around and like all the Christmas decorations up. She's like, it feels like it's Christmas. I was like, I feel like Christmas is upon us, but it's not even December. Like, not to mention, we have no snow here in Alberta yet, or in Edmonton at least, and like, it's not Christmas without it. So Nick and I were driving around this weekend, and I was like, dude, where the fuck do we live right now? Like, where are we?
Are we in Florida?
Like we might as well just move to BC at this point. Like there ain't no snow. No. Like it looks like it should be like September, October, but it's like literally the end of November. And if we hold out for the next few days and do not get any snow in November, this is the first November since 1928 that we haven't had snow in like it's a snowless November, the first one since 1928. So that's almost 100 years.
That's nuts.
Crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah, like we don't have it here, which to me is
I'll take it.
Yeah. Oh,
but
I'll wait.
Crazy.
Couple weeks. Like Christmas isn't the same. Right? Like you definitely need it for Christmas, but like
I want it for Christmas, but
leading up to it, I'm take it or leave it. It could come for like the 2 weeks around Christmas and New Year's, and then just fuck off. I'd be happy, personally.
For those of you that don't live in Canada, winter roads and winter drivers are the bane of my fucking existence. So the fact that we haven't had to deal with that yet has been chef's kiss. I will take that anytime.
And that's kind of my point. Like if it could just snow and be on the houses and the like grass and the where it's beautiful and
melt on the
road so it doesn't like
where is it they have heated roads?
I
Japan?
don't know.
Or something like hook us up. Hook a country up because we need that bad.
It's not
Japan. Canada needs heated roads. We need
that. It's terrible, and that's that's what I
hate. Iceland even has heated roads.
Yeah, I actually don't. I think it's beautiful. I think the snow is beautiful. I love the look at Christmas. Like it is not Christmas without it. And honestly, every year we've moved to the Okanagan, it has been very snowy. Like last year, it was snowing like beginning of November, I think it was, and there was a lot of it by this time. Like we had like I don't know, a lot for Kelowna, and then there's been nothing. Like there's been a couple of days where it's rained. There's been some rain. There's been like it's also been minus, but
the temperature has been pretty mild too. So I feel like tying into what we're talking about, the affordability this kind of winter, it's been a shorter winter. Like it hasn't been too terrible. We've kept the furnace off a lot later in the season than normal because just walking around has been really warm, or even on really nice days where it's like 12, 13 degrees, we've opened up all the windows and doors to air out the house and shut the furnace off just to kind of like,
love that feeling.
Because it's been nice. It's so nice.
So great.
It was just, it's quite crazy how like my furnace just kicked on. So that's what made me think of it. Yep. Like it's been really nice. Like our bills will be lowish for a while. Cause normally we're cranking that shit October, September, November. And we're like, jacking the bill up, but it's been actually really, really nice.
It has. And I was just saying to Grant too, it's kind of ironic that this is all the winters that it's like this because he's not here as much, so I'm having to drive myself around. If it was this time last year, I'd have to drive myself in snow, and it's not like I hate driving in snow because I lived in Grand Prairie for 10 years. This is the thing that's so funny. I lived in Grand Prairie for 10 years, but Grand Prairie snow driving compared to Kelowna snow driving, two different worlds. Night and day. Yeah. Alberta driving in the snow is totally different. It's compacted. Everyone's on it. Everyone knows how to drive. Everyone takes their time. It's very straight roads. It's very...
It's not so much in BC.
Not so much in BC. And then in BC, you've got like slush instead of like dry snow, right? So people don't understand that like in BC, it's like a wet to your bone.
And then you get like all like the crazy drivers that are just like absolutely like they don't understand the concept of blinkers or
Nope.
braking properly in that weather. And yeah, you guys just have a
It's so nuts. And then I drive on the highway, so of course I don't love it. So I just thought it was kind of ironic that out of all, like, and then I've got the Jag too, so I feel like I'm more comfortable in the Jag than my Santa Fe.
I feel like I'd be more comfortable because it's like a solid vehicle, but also because it's the name, the Jag. I'd be
Yes,
so nervous driving it
I
on
know.
those roads. Like it's such a mixed bag of
It's
emotions.
such a
Like
mixed bag of emotions all the time. I'm like,
I'd
oh,
be driving Nick's truck. I would feel so much more comfortable because it's a big truck.
yeah,
I've got the 4x. Like I would feel good, but like I also don't want to crash. I don't want someone to crash into me.
I
Like
feel that all the time. That's why I'm like, oh, when it's snowing and maybe it's my driving anxiety, maybe it's because I don't want to put my Jag in a potential position. And it's like a way better vehicle as it's just more solid than my Santa Fe, even though like size wise it's like longer, but it's just heavier. It's just a bigger piece of machinery. And
I
like
was gonna
that's
say
the
that
thing. I
it's the
freak out.
difference. Is it an all wheel?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
Yeah. And it's brand new
Can't go
tires.
wrong with that.
So it feels nice. But at the same time, I also had, like I said, I'll drive around town. It's not that big of a deal. It's driving out on the highway with no lights on some of the parts of the highway. People are still doing 120. Like,
I couldn't.
I can't do that. Like, just all my car accidents, my body just immediately freezes up. So I feel very blessed because I've been driving myself to work.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I can't get rid of this cough.
I honestly, yeah, kudos to you because driving, like, I have knock on every fucking piece of wood I can find in my house right now. I have not been in a serious or even an accident. I slipped into a ditch with a girlfriend way back when, but it wasn't even an accident in my opinion.
Oh,
But I couldn't even. The driving anxiety afterwards would.
oh, you don't
Would
even have a
be
choice.
a very real thing.
I don't think people even understand. Like, it's not even like you can do all the work in your brain and it could be years in the past. It's like the minute your body feels your vehicle kick out, your whole body just stops and goes,
Memory.
"This is it. You're dying." And like
Yeah. I'm dying.
yeah, and like I have like knots in here and like certain injuries. And as I'm driving, I'll not even notice because I'm subconsciously and I'm just holding on, like white knuckling for almost no reason. And I'm like, oh my God, relax. And I can feel the pain. And like
It's funny how like you don't realize
yes.
that you're so tense until you let go, and it's like, oh
yeah, I'm like,
oh my arms,
well, my chiropractor and massage therapist asked me what's wrong. I'm like, oh, I've been driving to work lately, because I'm like, because there's again, I drive in the dark right around fucking the lakes where there's no lights and people are doing 120 and they're just when it's raining out, I cannot see. I have astigmatism. I'm old. It's just a thing. So I try.
in your prime, baby.
I've been going to work a little bit later, but as soon as it snows, I like already made the executive decision. Like, I'll just carpool while it snows. That is what it is. Then that way the Jag is safe. I'm safe. Everyone else on the road is safe. Why? Like, I've done good, as in like when I moved here, I couldn't even drive in town or like out to the highway. So the fact that I could drive myself like 9 to 10 months out of the year, I feel really solid about.
Yeah.
So so this year I'm like, okay, cool, snow. Like, even if I'm like calculating my brain, okay, even if it's like the first week of December, that's like 3 weeks of carpooling plus January. So that's like only like annoying someone for like 7 weeks out of the year.
I love that. You're so cute.
And like nobody really minds. Like, a lot of people right now can use the gas money too, right? Like, or just like, oh man, I'll take the $20 a week for gas. Like, that's great. That's helpful. And then me, I'm like, because I just hate being a pain in the ass. But anyways, my sad story. So hopefully, yeah.
Honestly, it all ties into the topic, though.
It does. So,
really
guys,
does.
keeping up with Canada, number four. So, not into being depressing every single time, but again, there's some things.
It's not so much depressing. It's just awareness.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And I think, again, like most things, some stuff sounds really good when the government talks about it and you hear all of these articles and these buzzwords saying, this is so great, this is going to end poverty, help with the homelessness. And then you really dive into it and it's just like, I don't think so. No. I just don't think so. And so we're going to talk about the basic universal income as well as a homelessness problem here in Canada, which seems to be growing and growing by the fucking day. And I'm first and foremost going to say, no matter what I say in this episode, I have no idea what the solution is. I'm not going to pretend that I have any idea of what the solution is. I just really struggle when the government does stuff like this and they talk about this because, like, before we get into this, think about CERB, right? Like, that was supposed to help so many people. Oh
my God, and look what it did to us, though.
Yeah, Benji's snoring. I was like, what is that noise? Oh, this is my son snoring in the corner. But it didn't help a lot of people. For one, a lot of people now are having to pay it back. It's just
Yeah.
right. Like I know a lot of people that have gotten messages saying like you didn't actually technically qualify, so give us that money back.
Well, and especially with like UBI, the Universal Basic Income, it is it's one of those, if it's too good to be true, it definitely is, because the government doesn't just give for no reason. They're not just going to give you 20 whatever it is grand a year for nothing. They're not good people. Like, you cannot convince me that they are, and there's nothing about it that I was telling Brandy that years, like a handful of years ago, like a few years before COVID, I was telling Nick, like, wouldn't it be cool if, yeah, they gave you like a base, like 20 grand every year, so you could put that towards your bills and towards everything, and then everything you make working
Mm.
would just be above and beyond. You can save for retirement, you can do all the fun things you want, you can travel and have fun. And I remember him saying, like, yeah, but then how many people are just going to be lazy fuckers and just take the 20 and do nothing? And I was like, oh, come on. Fast forward to now,
No.
you couldn't,
Couldn't
stupid to
convince
say,
me.
you couldn't pay me to
You
want to
couldn't pay me
take
this
that money.
money.
You could not
You could
like
not pay me to
paint
take
it
this money.
as you
No,
put lipstick on that fucking pig all you want. I'm not fucking taking it.
I am not.
I'm
No,
not.
because like,
I wouldn't.
and the thing is, I think my biggest argument was when people say, and I'm again not saying that this is going to be necessarily a terrible thing. I just
Mhm.
always have my restrictions because I'm like, I just don't ever see in most worlds where they have done good by a lot of the stuff. For example, even EI, like I would like to really dive into that one day too, because like for like when I've paid into it my whole entire life and I've used it maybe 2 out of 3 months my entire life. And I have been working since I was 16 years old. I am going to be 37 in 3 weeks. That is
Mhm.
21 years. 21 years of paying into EI.
See, and I used it once when I got laid off in
Amazing.
2016,
Yep.
and I needed it, and then I've used it for mat leave, I guess
Yes.
technically, with
Yes.
my
And so you
maternity
should.
pay,
Yes.
which, if you ask me,
Not
is a
livable.
disrespect to mothers, because how the fuck was I supposed to do anything with that money? If you're a single mother and that's what you're surviving on, good fucking luck.
Yeah, totally agree.
But
Totally agree.
I just, it's hard because they do claim that the UBI is going to help homelessness, which in my opinion, if they really wanted to help homelessness, they would. They won't, because it's a good bargaining chip. It's a good fucking campaign fucking point. Like,
Mhm.
it's just homelessness, I hate to say, is created by them,
Yes.
obviously.
Yeah.
Like,
And
we
well,
can't afford to look at our
I
inflation.
was just gonna
I think
say,
homelessness is probably at an all-time high right now,
I would say all of
especially with like
those things.
foreclosures during COVID,
Mhm.
business failures during COVID.
Tons.
Like, fuck, man,
And that's
that's government created.
yeah, and that's where I get again a little bit. I just want to flag these things and why we want to talk about it. It's just like I'm not saying that I don't want people to have this money and I don't want to solve homelessness and I don't want people to be helped. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is they have so poorly mismanaged our money and we don't have money for anything and we're sending it to other
Yeah,
countries and then all of a sudden we're going to be so the purport.
printing 20 grand per
Yeah, so
person.
17, yeah, $17,000 is what the proposal is. So I guess we'll get into a little bit. So what is so like Haley's been calling it UBI, which I don't know why that sounds like an STD or
It does.
like
It
some
sounds like
sort of
UBS. Like, it
yeah,
sounds like a tech. It sounds like a computer or something
yeah,
to me.
something
It doesn't,
something that
like, it's
doesn't
weird.
sound great. Like I don't want it. But it's universal basic income. So it's basically a payment from the government for everyone who would receive no matter individual's income level or need. Most modern conceptions of UBI don't conform to its literal meaning anymore. And usually means a kind of basic income, which usually takes the universal form as a guaranteed income plan that scales depending on a person's need. So this is kind of anybody over the age of 17 in Canada, including temporary
Over,
workers.
so not 18,
No,
17 and
17.
up.
Over the age of 17. Yeah. So the Senate bill proposes. So dial this back a little bit. So this is Bill C-223 and S-223.
Okay.
233, sorry. So Bill C-223 and Bill CS-233. This is so frustrating. I hate this shit. And I think this is why they do this so that nobody reads into it. But yeah, so
I
basically,
know the legalese is honestly my least favorite
I
to read.
yeah, it's not my
Legal
favorite.
jargon and like bills and all that, like they word it so strategically and
And it
trickily, in
feels
my
enough.
opinion, because it's just, you can't, it's not just basic reading.
No, and it hurts your brain, especially like, and like you, I'm sure too, like when you read in different language your whole life in school, and then all of a sudden you come out and you're doing all this reading, you're trying
Yeah.
to understand some, anyways, whatever. So this bill, and there's a big misconception too when this bill like goes through or once it gets taken to the House of Commons, it's not technically saying that it needs to happen. It's saying that an act to develop a national framework for guaranteed livable basic income. So essentially, all the people that need to people in this, if it goes
Yeah.
through, and my understanding is they need to then come together and come up with a framework of how this would happen. And like Hale said, it's about 20,000, so $17,000 per person, um,
For nothing, they're
for
saying, like they're
nothing.
just saying, here, have it.
Pardon?
Are there any like, is there anything tied to it, any like stipulations or like to qualify?
Not necessary. So basically, so this started in April 2021. The parliamentary budget officer Yves Giroux estimated a guaranteed basic income program that provided nearly 17,000 per year for low income households would cut poverty rates in half, but would cost the federal government $85 billion. So
So low income families though. So like
yeah,
if you're already making a decent amount, you wouldn't qualify.
I don't think so because it's so hard to say. Um, I think it's directed for low income, but I'm says
It
for
should
low
be.
income
I mean,
households would cut poverty rates in half, but I don't know. I think it's like if someone can't work. It was so convoluted to kind of figure out what it is.
I remember when I started as a receptionist, I was making like before taxes, I was making 32.5, and after taxes, I was literally like dollars above the poverty
Yeah,
level.
100.
So imagine a single mother. Like I feel like that's who that's geared towards, is like,
Yes.
yeah, low income could benefit from it, but like we said, like the CERB and all, like it's not, it comes with strings attached.
There's
It
going to
says it
be like
doesn't, but it'll always come with strings
it will
attached.
always, and I don't think it's going to solve things like they think it's going to.
No.
Because again, look at CERB. It was such a mess. But again, like okay, so the enactment requires the Minister of Finance to develop a national framework to provide all persons over the age of 17 in Canada, all persons, with access
All
to
persons.
guaranteed livable basic income. It also provides for reporting requirements with respect to the framework. So, if this gets voted through, if my understanding, that means
Yeah.
then all the people that need to be involved in this come together, figure out the
17 years
framework.
old.
17 years old.
Thinking about it, if I was 17 and was guaranteed to have 17 grand a year, what is like, oh my God,
So there was
the
11.
laziness that would come out of that, and the like the entitlement of just like, I've got this money, so like I'm good. Like I
Yep.
don't need to get a job. I don't need to.
But people are fucking
Yeah,
renting
no.
out part of their beds in Toronto because they can't afford shit. Like, and this is what it frustrates me. It's like, okay, I don't want to sound like a bitch and not say that these people deserve this money. But when we start going through how much it costs, that
Yeah.
$17,000 actually works out to being like, I think it's like $1,400 a month.
Yeah.
Okay, well, rent to live. The average cost for a single person right now in Toronto is $3,500. Vancouver $3,400. Montreal $23. Calgary $2,400. Quebec $1,800. That's just for a
Yeah.
single person. That's the average rate. So
Yeah.
these individuals aren't even going to be able to rent a home. So how exactly, on top of all the cost of living, it says a
It's
family. Sorry, go ahead.
that's why it's meant to like, it's like supplemental. So you're supposed to have a job on top of this.
Yeah, but still on top of that, I just don't even think like I just don't even
Like I don't understand how they think that's going to help homelessness, because like homeless people don't, like, you know what I mean, like
have a
you have
job
to
to
have
start
a
with.
job on top of it to maintain like living quarters,
Yep.
groceries, any type of transportation, even just a bus pass. Bus passes are fucking, I what was it the other day, I was looking into it, I don't remember why, I was like, because I remember my bus pass was like $50 a month, and that was expensive.
That was it then.
Like right out of high school, it was like just up to $50 a month. I think the bus to take the bus was like, I remember when it was like 250 to take the bus. Now I think it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like $5. Fuck, like you
It's not gonna.
there's no way.
That's what I'm trying to like get out with my words that aren't so
Not
good.
to mention, if you're homeless and you got 17 grand and you have a substance abuse problem, that ain't gonna be any fucking help either. Like they're just, it's not thought out
No.
properly. Because like if you're 17, you're living on the streets and you qualify for this 17 grand. Okay, well that's not going to get you a place to live for very long, anyways. I mean, you could do like once a week you can go rent a hotel room and fucking shower, I suppose. But like, what the fuck is that? Like, that's
And the
not
85
quality.
billion,
That's not.
the 85 billion that this could pay to people just to go in their pockets to supplement, why couldn't that be into more like, I don't know, mental health, like people that could, I don't know, that they could go to get help, or like financial aid, or any of the things to help them set themselves up for
Well,
success
they'd
and get
argue that
better
this is
jobs.
financial aid, right?
Well,
Like,
but I
we're
mean, like,
giving you money,
not, and like not even giving them money. I feel like putting money into teaching, like helping them,
resources.
yeah, like live a better life and get healthier, and like it's just like, again, free healthcare, free, like, we, none of these things that we say that we have are uh, free, because it's like we don't have this
The
money.
worst part is like,
Where's the
I
money
feel
coming
like,
from?
right?
Again,
That's the
saving
thing
from
too. Is like,
mates? Are we just moving that? So this is what my concern is that eventually what's going to happen, and like, this is one funny, I found this article from the CBC, and it was saying senators overwhelmed by emails calls pushing conspiracy theories about basic income legislation. So I the last month I've really struggled with the red side, the Republican side, the right side, because it's like conversations can't be had at just like a basic level. It really truly does have to drop into all these conspiracies, and like, I just cringe when I kind of hear like Klaus and like WEF and
oh,
all that stuff being tied to stuff, because I feel like whether we like it or not, people dismiss all of this stuff. So it's like, can we just
mhm.
talk about this at a basic human level, not with like cabal, conspiracy, and elite, because we're not going to get everyone to come together to listen that this might be a problem, because it's just clouded with all this talk about, well, it's just conspiracy, and then you get these articles coming
Yeah.
out, like this one that I'm going to read is nuts, and it made me
Well, that's the
really
purpose of the word
sad.
conspiracy, right? Is
Totally.
to make it look hokey and to just completely discredit anything. And the worst part is I feel like I said, like a few years ago, the UBI could be useful if it was done properly and if it was literally done with no strings and it was done to help people in a genuine way. But it's not, because it's coming from the fucking Daddy Gov. Daddy Gov does nothing for free. No government
Mm-mm.
will ever give you anything out of the kindness of their soul.
No.
They do it, they want to make money.
Mm-mm.
They want control and money.
Oh,
That's
every
pretty
time.
much the fucking base of all their fucking plans. So,
Absolutely.
like you said, like it's hard to like it's just hard it's a hard pill to swallow. I'm not taking it.
Nope.
Just like the fucking clot shot. I
I'm not doing
no,
it.
no thank you.
No,
I'm
thank
not
you.
doing it.
I'll sell my butthole online before I do
I
this.
will I would rather
I'm kidding. I won't.
use my basement bedroom to house a homeless person and help that way
Yeah.
than to, because that money is also going to be coming from like fucking tax dollars and shit. Like, it's
That's
not
what
going to be coming from anywhere good.
I'm.
We're going to
Excuse
be
me.
paying, like the people that work that don't qualify or that don't take it are going to be somehow paying for it, which like I'm fine with helping
100%.
my fellow person and all that,
Yep.
but
Totally.
it just comes to a point where it's like blind thievery.
Yes.
Like you're taking from, it's like the worst kind of Robin Hood you've ever heard of,
um.
you know?
Well, and it's just again, what are going to be the requirements? How are they going to pick and choose? Like, there's just so many other ways. I think that 85 million
You
could
literally
be.
cannot give
Yeah. Like, I just.
17 grand to every fucking person over 17.
Yeah.
Like, are you drunk?
Yeah. I just don't like. We're not that rich. Like, I don't understand. There was an
We're
MP.
not that rich. We're in the worst debt we've been in fucking
That's what I
decades.
mean. Like, where are we getting this? So there was a letter that I found from Kelly Block. Seems like that's the Carlton Trail MP, which I believe is in Saskatchewan. Sorry, if I'm not wrong, but he is opposing, or she. Sorry, Kelly is a very interchangeable. I guess I could just go,
Yeah,
hey Kelly, and look
very
at the
unisex.
picture. She, okay, she, yay, she. So she wrote a letter saying, "Dear constituents, many of you have heard of two private member bills which mirror each other. Bill S-233 was introduced in the Senate by Senator Kate Pate, and the other
Hey, Pate.
Kate Pate. That's spelled exactly the same. Um, and the bill
Kate
C-223.
Pate.
Kate, maybe it's Kate Pate. I'm so sorry. I doubt that you'll ever hear this. And if
Sorry.
you have, I'm so sorry. I need to know more about your bill if you, anyways, carry on. Was introduced by NDP MP Leah Gazin in the House of Commons. So these two bills are word for word identical as what Kelly is saying. Bill S-233 has been debated in the Senate, is slowly making its way through Senate process. While the other one is number 90 in the order of precedence, meaning it will likely be late 2023 and 2024 before it's debated. As noted in the summary below, these bills would require the government to create a framework to provide all persons in Canada over the age of 17 with access to guaranteed livable basic income.
So with access, okay.
Yes, these bills are worded in this way because private members' bills cannot initiate the spending of tax dollars. Under the Canadian
So it
system,
is tax dollars.
huh?
It is tax dollars.
This is what she's saying. I don't know. She must be wrong.
Okay.
Under the Canadian system of government, the government alone initiates all public expenditures, and Parliament may only authorize spending which has been recommended by the Crown. So, what they're saying is that it came through with private members, and private members don't initiate it, is what I'm reading it. But under the Canadian government, the government is the only ones that can initiate public expenditures as long as it's approved by the Crown. So that's probably obviously then what they would take it there to find out if it gets approved for it, would be my guess. So, all right, babes, we're going to take a little second to do another shout out. I absolutely love taking a few minutes every single episode to give a shout out to local business, friends, services, just pretty much anything that I love in this community because you guys are so important to me and I just want to send that love back. And today, there is no exception of love for this individual because the owner of this company is my neighbor and I absolutely love her so, so much. So it was a no brainer to take a second to give a shout out to her and her team at Lash Fox Beauty. Now, if you are in Kelowna, you will be able to use these guys' services. If you're coming to the area, for sure can book in for them. I absolutely love the work that they do. I love Angela so much. She's so talented. Her team is so talented as well. Very knowledgeable and just such a nice energy. You know, when you just meet someone and their energy is just comfort, that's what you got here. So, guys, let's jump into the website and let's learn a little bit more about these beauties and what they have to offer. So, Lash Fox Beauty was founded in 2017 by a passionate woman, Angela, and their studio has blossomed into a thriving business now boasting a team of 3 talented professionals. They take pride in offering a comprehensive range of services, including lashes, brows, facials, nails, waxing to help you look and feel your absolute best. At Lash Fox Beauty, our mission is to provide exceptional beauty that leave a lasting impression. We believe that beauty is not just about outward appearance, it's about embracing your unique features and enhancing your natural radiance. With our team of dedicated experts, we're committed to delivering personal services that cater to your individual needs and preferences. So we'll dive into the services a little bit more, but I just wanted to point out this part because I thought this was just so representative of who she is. At Lash Fox Beauty, we pride ourselves on creating a welcoming and tranquil environment where you can wind and escape from the stresses of everyday life. Our studio is designed to provide a serene atmosphere, allowing you to relax and enjoy the beauty treatments to the fullest. We are so grateful for the support and trust we've received from our clients over the years. Your satisfaction is our top priority, and we are dedicated to going above and beyond to exceed your expectations. We are committed to ongoing education and staying at the forefront of beauty trends and techniques, ensuring that you receive the best possible service and results. And it's so true. Every time I talk to her, she's just so excited about all the things. She's so passionate. I love it so much, you guys. So let's meet the staff here quickly, since I keep bragging. So let's see here. So we've got Angela, who's the owner, and she is a master lash artist, a brow technician, and certified esthetician. Then we have Kimberly. She is a lash and brow artist. And then we have Gurpreet, who is an esthetician. So if you guys want to go to the website, if you just go to the About Us, scroll down to the bottom, and you can learn a little bit more about this amazing team. Now let's jump into the services. As mentioned, they do lash extensions. They also do lash lifts and tinting. And then they do some lash removal as well. Brow lamination, facials, massage, nail services, and waxing. Wow, you guys, just so many things, so many things. And again, you guys can find them at www.lashfox.ca, or you can send them a message through the website here, or you can give them a call as well, 778-760-4300. And you can find them again on Instagram. So yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out because I absolutely love Angela. I love the work that her and her team do. I know she puts so much and she's so passionate in her career and her business, and I just admire that so much. So I thought it was very important to give her a little shout out. And you guys can always go down. She has a shop as well, you guys, that you can go down. You can get gift cards. She has all the different lash accessories that you could need, you know, like and also like satin pillowcases, makeup bags, tons of stuff down there. So you can also go down there and buy a few things, especially with those stocking stuffers if it's Christmas time. So, anyways, Angela, keep doing the good work. I'm so proud of you, and let's get back to the show. So,
It's
yeah,
still like, where is this money coming from? I don't shit money.
no, and
Where is our unlimited money fund? Because Trudeau sure as fuck is convinced he's got one.
yeah, so what she's saying here is according to the parliamentary budget officer, the cost of universal basic income scheme would start at 85 billion a year and rise to 93 billion by 2025. This would require an increase in personal income taxes by almost 50% or tripling the GST. There you go.
So we are. No. That's a hard pass. Hard fucking pass. I'm sorry.
And it's like, I'm not saying that people shouldn't need help. I'm not saying that people don't deserve
Dude,
stuff.
I'm all for helping, like I said.
But
Totally.
this isn't it, because people are going to
No.
take this the wrong way. Like, there's just so many things and so many places where this country is going that just freaks me out. It's like, oh,
That is literally going to breed nothing but laziness.
100%.
Trash.
And even if I think too, I'm not trying to be this way, but like, even when it comes to like mental health or physical health, like if you don't have to get a job and you don't have benefits, even like whatever, you're less likely, either for your circumstance or because you don't have to, will take care of yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't be heavily depressed and at home and like in massive anxiety when you have a job that you need to pay your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to say
Yeah.
that people don't, but for the most part, people do live with mental illness and have to go to work every single fucking day of their lives because they have to pay for their lives. So like, I think there's a level where you have to then also face your shit and try to figure out how to not live in that every day. But if you're just going to be at home and being paid to be at home, even living a lifestyle that maybe isn't what you want, but you don't have to do anything for it, I just think that's going to happen more and more. And people are more and more in their homes, and they just see this
Yeah.
screen and they don't see a real life, and they just don't have as much goals. And I don't know.
I'm a firm believer in working for what you earn and
Yes.
earning your life and earning your living. And as hard as it can be, and as hard as it is for some people, you are never going to like I tell Nick all the time, like when we do like renovations around the house, or like he does things and makes things and builds things and puts things together, I'm like, isn't the pride of doing that, like when you go to use that thing, or when you go to make, like when he hunts and gets a deer and when we go to eat that, I'm like, aren't you proud to say like, I fucking got that for my family,
Yes.
I did that,
Yes.
or I made that fucking whatever, I built that wall, I
Yeah.
built this house,
Yeah.
I built that garage, or I
I made
did
that
something, I
dinner.
earned that money.
Yeah.
As shitty as it is and the crappy people you have to put up with to earn it, like I did that. Like, is that like the pride in that goes so much longer than like farther in building character and just for everyday everything
Yeah.
than
I got 10,000 likes on
here's
TikTok.
money. Yeah, here's money, sit on your ass and do fuck all and watch your mental health decline. And in my opinion, they win, because then we're just not, we're dependent, we are useless,
And
and we are stupid, and we are no better than sheep and cows in a fucking field.
yeah. And that's why
And it just
it's just,
makes
again,
no sense to
the
me.
mismanagement of all the money. And it's like, again, EI, like we put so much money into it. Like I've put so much money into it over the 21 years
It's
that I've paid into
crazy.
it. And again, I've used maybe a couple thousand of it for a couple months out of my whole entire life. And when I need it or when my spouse needs it, it's like, oh no, well, you got paid too much
Not
for
to
your
mention
severance, so you don't get to make
it
money
takes
until this
forever to
date.
get, like it's such a
Like
fuck
it's
around. Like,
such a
yeah,
fuck
I'm with
around.
you.
It just doesn't make any sense, and this is why I don't really
No.
trust any of these things. And then too, like, people could think we're crazy, and I understand. Like, this is, I do want to read some part of this article because this is
Yeah.
what I just want to mean, to the point where it's like, whether this all goes all the way back to Bill Gates or George Soros or not, in my opinion, that is not going to help us win
No.
the other side over and bring masses over, because they hear that, and whether it's right or not, they think about conspiracy theorists, they think about the extremes, they think about all of those things, and then it truly blocks them from that. And it's like, if you
Yeah.
care about getting these messages out, wouldn't you want to care more about how it's being received necessarily than like the shock value or the like, well, I told, like, you know, because then these articles come out like this, and then now anytime anybody hears anything about UBI, it's going to be like, oh, well, that's just a conspiracy theorist from, and you know, that's related to Soros and all those things. It's the same, I feel like, how trafficking became so huge, because people just dismissed all the conspiracy theories, that they missed the part that became true,
Well,
that we
Sound of
see.
Freedom and like, oh, that's just a shit, like that, I'm not going to see that because of all that. Yeah, that's the whole premise of the word conspiracy theory. They have created that word
Mhm.
to discredit things that are very real
Yeah.
and very big issues
Yes.
and things that matter. But now, because it's tied to that,
People don't want to hear it.
it gets looked over.
Yeah.
It's just shit, right?
Yeah, and so that's where I just worry, like, if people just hear buzzwords and then stories like this. So, this was about the senator getting tons of emails about this UBI. So, those
Yeah.
contacting senator's office to oppose S233 blame the purported conspiracy to destroy the Canadian way of life on a range of bad actors, fascists, socialists, the Masons, billionaires like Microsoft, Bill Gates, and investors George Soros and the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab. Holy fuck, I cannot talk lately. Others bizarrely maintain the legislation will lead to transhumanism and an alleged plot to turn people into cyborgs. So, like, I'm not saying.
What the fuck does all that have to do with UBI?
But this is what I'm saying, right? This is where I struggle, and why I said lately I've been pushing more centrist as more than I ever have been, because this isn't getting us anywhere.
Extreme.
Just listen to this, because you'll kind of laugh, because it's like all of the out there that if you were to read this on the left side, you'd see why everyone would dismiss this. This is Canada, not
Yeah.
North Korea, not Russia. You are employees of the people, not employees of the WEF or the WHO. One correspondent said in a recent email. This bill is just the beginning. We are losing our freedoms to a group of elite that want to depopulate and control mankind, enslave us to experimental transhumanism and the removal of Christian and godly devotions. Nobody voted for Nazi Klaus Schwab. Nobody even knew he existed 2 years ago. He has nothing to do with Canada or our country. He holds a statue of Lenin in his office. This is not Canada. We are not going back to Nazi Germany. Please see Nuremberg trials, said one writer. And then many conspiracies since the onset of COVID-19. And the article goes off to say that ever since the truckers' convoy and all of this, that COVID has broken a lot of people, and a lot of people are now crazy, thinking all these conspiracies up and all of this. And so now, like, this is where I'm just making the plea. Like, I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. What I'm saying is, if you want everybody to know this, you kind of have to start here, and you kind of have to, like, you know, you can't just go from like this to like adrenochrome and spirit cooking in like one day. I know we did it. I know me and you did that, but and I don't even know if that's real, right? Like,
The funny thing
it's
is
harming
I like
the bottom line. It's harming the bottom line.
everything that person said is legit.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like, it is true, and I get what he's saying, and it is, like, in my opinion, I agree, but like, I also agree with you. You can't like dump all the sugar out on the table
You
at once.
can't.
Like, you gotta.
They can't take
It
it.
just like once you do it, like, picking that up is just you. Yeah, it's a fine line between making sense and making a point and looking like a fucking quack.
Yeah. And also to the point
And
of like, why do we
that's the
always have to
shitty
be
part.
right? Like, let's say like flat earth, not flat earth. Whether you believe it one or the other, why does it matter that we have to argue that we're being right? That, like, you know what I mean? Like, I personally don't know that. So I'm not going to argue either. I would not be surprised if a black hole opened up in my fucking kitchen today and I just jumped in and I like was all of a sudden on, like, I don't know, what's that stupid
Mars.
like, what's that? Cartoon Futurama. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that think complete opposite of me. And if I want to come to a middle ground to them, I can't go my extreme and like put it in their face. I have to meet somewhere in the middle to be like, you know what? We know rich people. You all say that white people are the worst, the rich white people in the world. So we know that, right? Let's agree on that topic. Okay? So we can agree with that, right? So then can we not agree that maybe some of those people mismanage and hurt people to make more money? Like all conspiracies aside, yeah, can we agree on that? Let's start there as a common ground, yeah? And then we start working together and then they start piecing
For
it
the
together.
UBI,
It still sounds like
you
we're
saying that
saying
just made me think
UTI.
they should be the ones that people that make over a certain amount of money a year, like millionaires and billionaires, they should be made to put money into a fund that comes into a UBI. That's where the money should be coming from.
But like
It shouldn't be from us being taxed, in my opinion. It should
I
be from
agree.
Bill Gates and Oprah.
Yeah, I agree, but like at the same time, it's like that's just going to trick because I know a lot of people say that and I agree, but it's only going to trickle down because that rich person is now then going to jack up everything in their businesses to make up for that, and then the people have to pay for it. And I think that's continually what has happened is like, oh, things
That's
have
where
gone.
they'd have to have like stipulations,
Yeah,
but it's in a
I think
perfect
that's where our
world,
tax
yeah.
dollars should go. Like, I honestly think it's a mismanagement of our money. And I'm again not finance minister. I mean, I don't do as much whatever as she does. Um, but like, I just think it's a very poor mismanagement and distribution problem, personally.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Well, yeah, no, it
Like, I
is.
think all of us pay a fuck ton of taxes. A fuck ton of taxes. I don't know about you guys, but we pay a lot. See a lot of it
Well, I
going.
think what you pay like for, like I'm pretty sure most people is like 40% of their fucking,
Yeah.
like it's a lot.
And
Like we
and and
pay
and, but, and where's it
quite a
going?
lot. And
Where's
there's still potholes in our roads, and our fucking homeless problem is still
it's
up the
oh,
fucking ass. And
exactly.
there's like infrastructure problems fucking everywhere. Like
So
construction takes fucking years.
yes.
Like it doesn't.
So to counter that, when everybody couldn't work and they were on COVID and they were getting $2,000 a month to live, did that
Mhm.
solve the fucking homeless problem?
No,
Did it maybe
dude,
create
you'd be
more?
shocked.
Are
Some of
we
these
shocked?
numbers for
So
homeless is
isn't
like
that like a little
truly
isn't that like a
wild.
little preview of, and that's more than what they would be paying. CERB is more than what
Mhm.
they would be paying for this UBI. So isn't that a little indication of how terrible that's gone and how the economy's gone from now and the inflation's gone up? How that didn't solve that problem and now all of a sudden they're saying that this is going to solve the problem? Do you see where I'm
Yeah.
confused? Am I just like out to lunch? Like, did I have,
They're always trying to sell us a solution to problems
that
when
they're
it never
making?
is a proper solution to a problem, right?
Like, just fucking change inflation, make it livable for people to not have to like have 17 jobs and be able to actually go to a counselor and go eat
Well, like
proper
I said, they
food.
like to make money. That
Yes.
doesn't work for them, right?
No.
They just want us to be in debt and for them to make fucking cash money.
Exactly. And that's why I just like, oh, okay, so sure. Sure. Okay. Anyways,
So
yeah, you hit us with your numbers.
the homeless numbers are really fucking jarring, to say the least. The website I found is called homelesshub.ca. We have a whole fucking thing dedicated to it. This says in the fall of 2016, the second national analysis of emergency shelter data was released by the government of Canada. So I don't know how current this is within like, but you can only assume that these numbers have probably fucking gone way up, especially since COVID. Like we said, with all the foreclosures, bankruptcies, fucking just everything. So this has a few things here. So how many people are homeless in a given year? This is all of Canada, okay? So it was estimated at least 235,000 Canadians experience homelessness in a given year. The actual number is potentially much higher given that many people who are unhoused live with friends, relatives, and do not come in contact with the emergency shelters.
Good
So
point.
you can probably guess that that's probably like 500,000.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yep.
Half a mil. Data from LPSOS Reid poll in March 2013 suggests as many as 1.3 million Canadians have experienced homelessness or extremely insecure housing at some point during the past 5 years. Within a given day, there's probably about 35,000 homeless individuals minimum in Canada. That's ridiculous. Staying in emergency homeless shelters, 14,400. There are approximately 15,467 permanent shelter beds. And in 2009, an average of 14,400 were occupied. So between 2010 and 2014, the number of people using shelters decreased. However, the occupancy rate in shelters have increased from 82% of beds being full in 2005 to 92.4 being full in 2014. So you know damn well that
Way
we're
above
over
that now.
capacity right now, like for sure.
There's no
If
way
our
not.
food banks are going fucking mental, you know our shelters are too, which is depressing.
That's super depressing.
Like unsheltered 2,800. I don't believe that for a second. We probably have 2,800 in Edmonton alone.
Yeah, I'd
And in
say
Toronto, the
Kelowna is
immigrants
huge.
coming to Toronto and to Canada are having to go back home because they
can't
don't have a
afford it.
place to live,
Yep.
because they can't afford shit here. Food, let alone a fucking house. And a lot of those people are coming with multiple, if not at least one child.
Yes.
So keep that in mind.
Yep.
2,800, yeah, per fucking city.
Yep.
Like, there's no way that's all across Canada.
No.
It's just like, and then they have something called chronic homelessness versus just like temporary homelessness. So it's just, yeah, those experience chronic homelessness, they say 4,000 to 8,000. Those experiencing episodic homelessness is 6,000 to 12,000. And those who are transitionally homeless is 176,000 to 188,000.
Wow.
Like, it was just like, what are these numbers?
But
Like,
also,
why is that okay?
How do you follow up on that? Like, you say, okay, like, oh, I'm just in a rough spot right now. But then do you go back in a couple months later to see if that person's like not in a rough spot anymore?
So,
like, how do you decide that?
The demographics, which was surprising, single adult males between 25 and 55 account for almost half of homelessness in Canada.
Oh.
The youth, age 13 to 24, make up about 20%.
Okay. Ow.
Which that number is way too high.
Yeah, that is way too high.
13 to 24.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Women make up about 27%. So women are also in like the like battered women shelters and stuff. Is a lot of that too, it says. In addition, women are also at higher risk of experiencing intimate partner violence, so they're kind of it's kind of a twofer for them. Indigenous peoples, where's the number for them? It just says like in urban centers in Canada are overrepresented among those experiencing homelessness, which unfortunately, especially Edmonton, you see a lot downtown. It's heartbreaking. It's really like
Kelowna's got
sad.
a whole area, like the train.
It's
Excuse
rough.
me. I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah, and it's so sad because at the same, like, I understand where people are coming from and you see on the rant and rave pages so much all the time, and like, you know, like one thing that Grant's seen when working with his job is that he would work on the machines at the bottle depots, and you would see people with stolen purses and diaper bags, and you know, he really seen a dark part of that, right? Because there is a really dark part of that homeless community that are doing really bad things, that are criminals, but there is a very large part of it that people, you know, and a lot of people can say that they're probably just a couple of bad paychecks or a couple of bad mistakes or circumstances from being in the exact same situation as those individuals.
The amount of bottle pickers that I've seen in Edmonton, I remember I've heard stories and had people say like they've seen homeless people stealing bags of bottles from people that are unloading their vehicles because they're just so hard up. The amount of shopping carts that you see fucking mounded with bags. Like Sherwood Park here where I live, they have a whole task force, apparently, allegedly. I don't know for sure, but I've heard from people that say that they've had family members and friends confirm that there's a whole task force of police that escort homeless people out of Sherwood Park because they will come here to pick bottles and they will come here to pick through our garbage. And it is rough. I remember White Ave when we were younger. There would be homeless people in big garbage bins. They would empty them out and they would sit in the bins and make fires to keep warm on White Ave. Our winters are not to be fucked with. No. The fact that there are people living without fucking houses on the streets in Canadian, let alone fucking anyone's shitty weather. Canadian winters, are you fucked? Like we were talking about at the beginning of this. Dude, I've seen 15 days where we're the coldest place on earth. Minus 50 with the wind chill.
And so to me, it's like, can that 85,000, and again, I'm not saying, please let us know if you have more about this, because like, again, I'm not pretending to say I know what it is, but to me, I feel like that money would be better spent to building places that have resources for people to go, because if 176,000 of these individuals are transitional
Mm-hmm.
homeless, then wouldn't it be fair to say that these are people that are just in a rough part in their lives? And if there was like a small
Mm-hmm.
short-term rental space where there was therapy, there was someone that was teaching them how to eat properly, to take
Like
care of them,
halfway houses type
yeah,
thing.
help them do their resume, clean them up. Like we watched that, there was this one video that was on there of a guy that couldn't get a job. He was homeless because he had a beard and he didn't know how to shave, so there was a cop like shaving his beard for him so that he could go
Yeah.
get a job. Like places like that. Like if the majority is that transitional, then why can we take some of that money and have places for people like that? Like wouldn't that help? And then at the same time, let's maybe not charge everybody so much for everything in Canada, like groceries and gas. Let's start there instead of, oh, here, let's just give everybody more money. And then again, not trying to be this way,
So
but it's going to be a certain amount of people that don't make money, that make under a certain amount. Like they're really trying to wipe out that middle class, because it's like you're going to be rich or you're going to be fucking poor, because that middle class,
yeah,
we're not going to give you anything, and nor do we want it. But we're not going to get any tax breaks. We're not going to get any handouts, whether we want them or not.
yeah.
You're going to have to keep rising with the inflation, but we're going to give money to down here, and then fuck you guys, whatever. I just don't
So
think
this
that.
website has solutions,
Oh,
and
well,
it
shut up.
one of the things that it says cost effectiveness of ending homelessness. So an adequate supply of safe and affordable and appropriate housing is prerequisite to truly end homelessness in the long term. This includes ensuring that people who are chronically and episodically homeless are prioritized, and that the system in place to enable such a person to receive housing and support through Housing First program. So Housing First programs are in place, but there's, you know what I mean?
Many. There's
In a
really
tight
not enough.
housing market, implementing a housing first agenda becomes that much more challenging. It is also important to address the supply of affordable housing in order to broaden access for um, other priority populations, including women fleeing violence, Indigenous people, families, seniors, and youth, for instance. Like, it does have, like, what will this cost? Oh my God. Our proposed investment in affordable housing represents an increase in annual federal spending from the projected commitments of 2.019 billion to 3.752 billion in 2015/2016, with a total investment of 44 billion over 10 years.
So,
That's with a B, people. A billions.
yes. So 85, it wasn't it 85 billion? Yeah. So this bill, this UBI is going to cost 85 billion a year. So we would save money by doing this proposal by a fuck ton. Then we could put more
Mhm.
money if that's not enough and it keeps growing, or putting services in there to help them.
It just,
Again,
I'm
I'm
gonna go see what
stupid.
some
I
of
don't
the
know
other
anything about this shit.
solutions.
I don't claim to know shit about fuck, but this seems to me like there is better solutions out there. And again, a mismanagement of money. I mean, I
It's
mismanage my
just,
money too, but
they like this whole website, again, it's homelesshub.ca.
mm,
It sounds so good, and it sounds like you want it to, like, I would love for that to work. I would love for that to be a thing, and I would love for it to work out. But $44 billion over 10 years, we have to go back to where the fuck are you getting that from?
yeah, that's true.
I realize that money is printable and it seems that it's infinite, and we all know damn well that it is not.
No.
Money is like, the more money you print, the less value it has. Like, we
100%.
are just in like the worst state of debt right now. Like, we're in the trillions, and you want to add 44 billion more because our government doesn't have a flying fuck to give about the poor people in their country that don't have fucking homes.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, this is going to sound rude, and I know you guys know I don't mean it to be, yet they're going to bring how many refugees over and continue adding to that fucking problem. Yeah, come to Canada. It used to be awesome.
Yeah.
Come to Canada. We're great. We love, come on over. Where?
Yeah.
To fucking where?
Yes. Yes. And it's not that we don't
Like,
love them or anybody.
I
But at
love
the same
helping. I
time,
love that we're a melting pot. I love that we're a helping country.
but is it
But
though?
we need to pause that for now,
But is it helping
unfortunately,
though?
because our people are suffering.
But like, I mean this in the nicest way. Is it helping though? Because if people come in, they can't find jobs here because it's so hard to find a like job with most parts, especially if you have a different language and there's that language barrier, let's just say. And
Yeah.
then your education for wherever you come sometimes doesn't transfer over as well because of some stupid fucking rule, you know. And then they're like, oh, but don't worry, we'll pay you $1,400 a month to live here, and
Yep.
everyone's like, oh, that sounds so amazing, until you find out that a family of four estimated cost in Kelowna without rent, I just pulled it up, is $4,800. So a family of four plus rent is about six to
You
$7,000 a month in Kelowna. So come here, move here, not gonna be able to get a
have to
job,
live on the streets.
live on the streets because it costs $6,000 and you're gonna only get 14. Even if every single one of you got 14, that still would probably just be enough to like make it. And I just don't think that that
It
is
just
what people come here to like. Again, I'm not,
no,
yes, a
they're
million
sold
times,
something so
and a
different.
million times better than other places. I check my privilege. I understand we live in Canada, and I understand that we're also allowed to hold that to the fire to be the best place, so that when people do come here, they are coming to the
See
place
where
that they think that they're coming to, right?
I realize we're privileged, and I'll say the same thing. Like I realize that, but at the same on the same fucking breath, Canada ain't that fucking hot right now. We are not doing okay.
We're not doing great,
I am
guys.
more privileged than a lot of people in the world, and I realize that, but that does not mean that we are without struggle and we are without fucking issue.
Yes.
Our country is fucking really close to fucking getting to the bottom of that fucking toilet drain.
Yeah.
Like we are fucking spiraling what seems like out of fucking control.
Totally agree.
There is just no amount of money being thrown at this problem that's going to fix it. This isn't a throw money at the problem to fix it type thing. This is a fucking roll up your fucking sleeves and get to work.
Yeah, and do a better job.
The amount of the other thing with the homelessness, this is a touchy subject, and I hope I don't offend anyone, even though that's pretty much what we're used to here. The amount of homeless people that I see begging for money on the side of the streets or in the meridians of roads look from the first glance to be like, if you can stand out on the street walking between cars begging for money, in my opinion, you can go get a job. I hate to say it, I really do. The generations that have come after ours are pretty fucking privileged, and I do find a lot of the homeless are probably a bit younger than I am, and generations younger. I have seen some older, don't get me wrong, but like if you're above or under the age of 30 and you're homeless and you're standing begging for money, there's a part of me that has sympathy and will always have sympathy, but there's also the part of me that is just like, get your shit together. Life is hard. I get it. People suck. I get it. But like fucking buck up and do your best and go get it. Like there are jobs out there. I've told Nick, like, I would work shifts at 6 different McDonald's if I fucking had to. I would work fucking take anything. I don't know. I haven't had to look for a job in forever. So I like my like a basic job. I have a different like my career path is not like I'm not a waitress anymore per se, like I used to be, but like I don't know how hard it is anymore, but I can't see it being, if you don't have anywhere to live, like I feel like I'm sticking my foot in my mouth now. Like if you have nowhere to live, you don't really have like a base to like go off of. I get that that's hard, but at the same time, like if I were a business owner and were to see someone coming like, look, I just need a job, I just need something, please, like that's where people need to start opening their hearts and being like, yeah, of course I'll help you. Yes, of course I'll give you. You can sweep up. You can be a stock something. You can do whatever. Like I will give, like, it just sucks, man. Cause like you want to trust people. I will give you a loan to get you clothes to wear appropriate to work, or like your uniform if you can't afford it, like things like that. But people suck.
Yeah.
And people are rude.
Yeah.
And we have just got this like really ugly disease that people get in them of just lazy, entitled. Drugs is another one, which is fucking, we need to do an episode on hard because the drug epidemic, like addiction, you just can't break of that. And I get that. And it's hard to break. And I'm fully aware of that. But like, I am just so tossed sometimes between you look like you can go get a job versus there's problems that I can't see that cause you to not be able to. And I get that there are, but like,
Totally. I think that's why
especially
it's
like
so
my
hard
my
to
dad and family live on the north side of Edmonton, and the amount of people you see begging for money who are like my dad, every morning he would see these guys at the corner store, and they're like, do you want to buy this chain? And my dad's like, no, I don't want to buy a chain. He's like, okay, well, I need the money. He's like, well, I'll go in and get you a coffee and muffin and whatever from the Mac store right now if you want. No, I just need the money. Well, you know what they want that money for,
yeah,
and you know what they need that money for. They're sitting outside the liquor store next door,
yes,
or there's like, I hate to say that, but like, if you're not going to offer or take the help of food and like a coffee, I feel like you're homeless for a very different
specific
reason
reason. Yeah,
than
and I think
like
that's
there's two
too.
different versions
Well,
in
and
my
I think
mind. I hate to
there's
say
probably even more than that. I think there's so many truths that can exist at the same time where it's
that.
like
Mhm.
some people choose to be homeless because that's a better living
Right?
situation than
Or they've run
their home.
away, and yeah,
They've run away,
it's
or they've made bad decisions that they just financially couldn't keep up and they're just living in their cars until
yeah,
they can find somewhere, or the fact that like there's no like rent is so expensive that some people just really can't afford it and they sleep in their cars. Like there's so many
it's
different things,
just
but then there's
it's
also
so
people
hard.
that do a lot of drugs that just choose not to, or that are physically capable but just won't put the effort in or can't put the effort in for whatever reason, that you're like, okay, well, it makes it hard to sympathize with you because it looks like if you just cleaned up a little bit, and there are places like there's hand-me-down places, there's thrift stores that you can buy nice
Well,
outfits
I'm
and
pretty sure
get
shelters
yourself
have that too.
together.
Like
Yeah.
they do give them handouts and help and like toothbrush, toothpaste, socks, underwear,
Yeah,
like the basics of what they need. And like I know it's not ideal, but like
it's a start though,
I
right?
just wish there was more of that like motivation. And I know that motivation is pretty much dead when you're in those situations, and I can get that and I can appreciate that. And I realize that like I'm speaking of a place where I've never had to go through that. I've never had to fucking experience that. But I just wish it was different. I wish our world wasn't so like shitty in that
It's
sense
too
that
hard,
people
it's
have
too
to
difficult,
experience
right? Like,
not having a home
yeah.
and not having shelter, the basic like essentials. I posted something recently on Instagram. We don't realize how fucking rich we are
Hmm.
if you can tuck into a bed with clean sheets, if you have food in your fridge that you can fucking eat, if you have like just the base, like you're fucking good to go.
Hmm.
You are richer than a lot of people in this world.
100%.
I don't have a dirt floor. I don't have like gaps in my walls where wind, like it's outrageous how like privileged we are, but at the same time like we still like Nick, it's not suffer, I'll say, but we still like it still sucks.
Still
Like this
struggle.
our country is just very
You can still struggle.
dysfunctional.
We like, and
And
being
like you said, the
homeless.
basic income, like we can give money to all these other countries but not help our own people. It just blows me away.
Yeah, but even
Blows me
how
away.
we're gonna help our own people, I still don't think are the right ways. Because, like I said, we've seen what happened with Serb, and like, yes,
There
they would have
isn't
had to have a job, so homeless people wouldn't necessarily get Serb. But you could see with just the mentality of giving somebody $2,000, and all these
the
people
UBI,
at
yeah.
like service and restaurant jobs are like, we can't find anybody, we have to close down because no one wants to get paid that same amount to actually do work when they can pay nothing. And so then
Turn on their
also,
ass and do it.
yeah, you're gonna start coming up, no offense, but then people are gonna start coming up with all these like
You
reasons why
too.
they can't work, because how they're like, I think the reason why I can't find too much on what's going to be what you need to have is because they have to come up with a framework. So in that framework, I'm sure
I
there's
think
going to
so.
be some excuse me, minimal requirements that you're going to have to meet to be able to get this. I'm not necessarily saying it's good, bad, or the other. All I'm saying is that I don't know, Serve didn't really go well, so I don't know that this is gonna make things better, and I don't think it's gonna help poverty. And I
I don't
think
think so.
cutting and inflation and grocery prices and gas prices and rental prices, because guess what? A person
Mhm.
could used to be able to rent in like a cheap place for like 700-800 bucks. I think it's very rare to
Dude,
find an
basement
apartment for
suites,
like
eight
a
hundred
thousand
bucks,
dollars.
easy.
Pardon?
I said basement suites back in the day, $800,
Yeah.
easy.
Now
700 and some, easy.
1,000, 1,200. So even that little amount that would pay for someone's gas and groceries and life, and now that's all gone. So, and then you have kids that you have to pay and all this stuff, right? So it's like, I just don't think I just don't personally think that's the right way. I don't know. I hope to figure out a better way one day. We'll be interested to see where this goes. We'll keep an eye on it. But again, if we're talking about this, guys, and we want to hear stuff, I'm just gonna plead, please, please. I love a good conspiracy. I love making up all the reasons why, or believing all the reasons why these fucks are available, but or like around, and like how they all connect. But at the same time, if we're gonna warn people, and we want to warn everybody, can we just like try to like be basic, like one little veil at a time, and like slowly
Mhm.
help them connect the dots instead of just throwing all the dot pieces at their faces and being like adrenochrome?
the the UBI truly, especially in Canada, has nothing to do with Bill Gates. It
I
has
don't
nothing
think
to
so.
do.
I just don't.
Klaus Schwab, I could see the link because they're kind of a global
Or just a
thing, but
digital
like,
ID and like the whole money thing.
yeah,
Like I
like
see that all
all
linking,
of
but
that, like I can see where it links, but yeah, like just start the basics and start at home. Like
yeah, this
the government of
might not be
Canada
great.
is who you can fucking blame it on
Yeah.
because you know Justin Trudeau. And yes, that links greater and greater and greater, and like he links to the wherever, but like don't go there.
Just
Just
start here.
stay local. And yeah, I get what you're saying
Right. And
for
I'm not
sure.
saying,
But
and I'm not saying that it's not, and I'm just saying that when I look at that, when I look at something that's like super, super, super liberal, and I'm like, I cannot handle this message because of how this person is delivering it, because they're
yeah,
coding it in so much of their own like verbiage, and there's just no opening or understanding, I'm less likely to absorb that message. But if they come at it
yeah.
like a middle ground and be like, I see the crazy, but like here's this side, can you see that logic? And I'm like, oh yes, like
The worst part is though is some of those people don't see the crazy and they
no,
don't know how to word it that way because they don't, right? Like
100%.
we're gonna get the extremes of everyone, but it is hard to like even just basic things these days. Everything is coded in either left or right.
And I'm
And it's
just so
just
done
there's
with
no
it.
one willing to just converse normally or like we said, I can see where UBI would be good,
Mm-hmm.
but
I can see where it could be real
I can
bad.
also see where it can be very fucking bad. And like I can see where like yeah, like I was saying, I can see where homelessness is completely like devastating and like a really shitty cycle that you can't break, but I can also see some of them where it's like you choose to be
Yes,
here. This
absolutely.
is a choice
Yep.
more so than it is
Yep.
like a shitty
And we
circumstance.
should
You
be
know what I
looking
mean?
at
Like
that. We should be like, why? Why would you want to do like, or why do people repeat offend to go to jail because their life is better
yeah.
in jail than in their normal lives? Like, why are we not looking into
I
that?
really want to go through that website a bit more for the homelessness and see what they have to say
Yeah.
about more stuff, but like it is truly those numbers are really fucking mind blowing to
And
me
that
and
was,
like it is just really
5, 6 years ago too, 7 years
well
ago.
that was 5 6 years ago so you can almost guarantee like
Imagine.
some of the numbers like you were giving like the it's got bachelor suites 1 bedroom 2 bedroom prices and they go up to 2022 for
Hmm.
those prices so like that was a little more current but like their numbers for homelessness aren't accurate. I couldn't find anything for like 20 like very accurate
They don't want
homelessness.
people to know, I think, in a way, right?
They
Like,
don't.
they want to say, oh, it's doing
But like I
good.
said, it's a game piece for politicians
Yes.
too. Like we're gonna solve homelessness.
Yeah.
We're gonna do something about
Yeah.
homelessness. We're gonna
And poverty.
finally. But how many
How?
fucking people have said that?
Yes. And
How many?
exactly. And I just don't
And
think
it's
that it's by things like
still there.
this. I don't think it's by things like this because people need support. People need help to change their lifestyles, and just throwing money at
Yeah.
them and being like you said, just throwing
You.
money at it isn't helping even people that are of the most sound mind that are going to do right by
Yeah.
that money. It's still not going to work in my opinion. Just
UBI will not remove any of our tent cities. Is pretty
no.
much where that's
I
going.
don't think so. If anything, I think it's going to keep it the same. And I'm sure there's going to be help for single moms and stuff. Like I'm sure it'll benefit certain people, and it should.
It'll keep it the same,
But
but addiction will be through the
yes,
roof and fucking really weird fucking spending. Like they'll still be homeless, but they'll have really nice shoes or something
yeah,
stupid, or they'll have
more
fucking
access to
expensive
drugs, like
clothing
you said.
or access to way more and way harder and way worse drugs and tons of alcohol. Like
Yeah, I mean, I guess it'll be interesting because it's
you're
like,
literally fueling their depression. Like, I'm still homeless, I can't afford to live anywhere, I can't afford to fucking do any of that, so let me just go with the money that I'm given by the government to go buy, yeah, like fucking tons of booze and fucking numb my pain. Like,
yeah,
there's just no, it's like the legalization of all the drugs
yeah,
in
it's not helping.
BC and like all who the fuck is that helping?
Nobody.
who who
Drug
You're
dealers.
not putting that into the proper resources, and they know that. They're not stupid.
They're not.
They have countless experts. They have tons of people that all they do is focus on these
Mhm.
problems, and they're not doing anything to solve them.
Just
It's a
ignorant.
runaround of, like I said, we're going to do this. We're going to solve it finally.
Crime
The
on
fuck you
drugs.
are.
War on drugs.
If I
That they
ever see a
created.
politician or one of our like people running for anything that say that, that would be an immediate, like, you are at the bottom of my voting.
Yeah,
You're the
you're
bottom of
fuck.
the list of who the fuck I'm
You're
voting
done.
for. You're a piece of shit
Yeah.
that you're gonna prey on all the poor homeless people. I'm gonna fix this. No, the fuck you're not.
No, no. And
You're
I
a
just,
loser and you're fucking a pawn. Like, I don't like that.
well,
That's the
also
part that
not
bugs
trying to
me.
be that way, but do most people that live on the street have a bank account? Like, what does this all tie to? Does that mean they have to go get an
Yeah, how the
ID?
fuck are
Like,
they supposed to cash those
this,
checks? Where do they go for that?
do they have phones where they just like accept it on their like internet transfer? Like, I don't know. I just,
The,
there's something
the
seems
more
sus
and
about
more,
this whole thing, and it all ties together. Like we said, the most money has probably been given out, the most support. We have the most awareness of all time. We live in the
yeah,
most privileged, like rich country. Why are the
it
numbers
truly
getting
just
worse? Why are we having
pisses me off
why
more.
are we having to talk about UBIs? Like, if we're progressing, if the balance budget is balancing itself, why are we talking about having to give $17,000 to families a year and that will cut
We
50% of poverty? Why is this such a problem in one of the richest countries in the world?
we need to start creating jobs for them and giving them opportunity to get out of that situation. Like, where the fuck is that
The
option?
support. That's what I'm saying, to
Yeah.
help them write a resume, to help them with, maybe they have speech
If
problems,
therapists
therapy.
didn't cost an arm and a leg and you didn't have to wait 2 years for a fucking appointment. My brother, who has access to, like
All
he
of it.
could, they could, my parents and my family could afford to get my brother a therapist, but it is literally a year and a half to almost 2 year wait to fucking see one.
Yep.
And that is what a lot of these people need to get their minds right, to
Yep.
like steps to get out of where they are, the motivation to get there. But our resources are for shit.
They're gone. They
So
don't
giving
exist.
the money, like we've been saying, giving the money, what the fuck, they can't even, they couldn't even pay for a fucking therapist with that money because there's none to be seen.
Not with that
it's
kind of money.
just
No, you're gonna pay maybe
it's
rent.
just stupid. It's so stupid. Even if they got it, yeah, they couldn't pay to go to see a therapist for a bit and then slowly trickle down and then take that money to put towards something. Like, I can see where, like, the mindset is like, they mean, I want to say they mean well, but I know they fucking don't. But I can see where, like, it could work and it could, like, they could, but it just, it's not going to. Like, we know damn well it's not going to.
No,
We don't have the resources, we don't have anything set up. It's literally,
it's driving
it's
us more.
lipstick on a pig. It really is. It's lipstick on a pig.
Yeah,
Here, take this, we love you, and then we're gonna fucking stab you in the back and fucking, like, spit on you
mhm,
as you turn
pretty
around.
much. That's what I mean. Like, I just, so guys,
Piss in your
when
face
you
and
hear
tell you it's
about
raining.
UBI or universal basic income or however, whatever, don't dismiss everything right away. Don't take what we're saying for 100%. Go look into it, but just
Look
have a
into
look
it.
around. Okay, I think all of us can agree poverty is at all-time high. People are struggling the most. There's the most homelessness community now than more than ever. And
Mm-hmm.
we gave people CERB for almost what was it, fucking year almost, or like 6 months or some shit.
Two,
And that
a
didn't
year or
help
two.
anything. It didn't help the economy. It didn't help individuals. So not sure how spending maybe like $300 less a month is gonna then
Well,
somehow be better.
it's just,
And
yeah.
how is that going to actually
Honestly,
help homeless people that don't have a home, can't probably register, don't have probably a driver's license, probably can't afford to get a driver's license? Or is it this just going to ushering in digital ID? And that's where I understand where people say that. But at the same time, when we're speaking out loud to other regular people, let's just not say Klaus Schwab and cabals and da 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 da. Let's just keep to the basic facts that
yeah,
this isn't going to help people, in my honest opinion. But you guys go research for yourself. You look it up
yeah.
yourself. keep an eye on it, but please just don't dismiss this as another conspiracy theory that has no value in having a little flag to be like, let's watch this, because like what? So the money that you're going to save in Maine, the $104,000 you're going to save, $104 billion you're going to save on
Guarantee
that,
you.
is that just going to go over to this and just pay for these people? Or are you going to just be like, oh, you have two options, it's going to be UBI or maids? Like,
I was gonna say, honestly, you talking about conspiracy and all that. I guarantee you, the UBI will be linked to a digital ID in some form,
oh yeah, oh, I do
and you
believe
won't be
it
able
will
to
for
claim
sure.
it unless you have
Yeah.
it. And
Well,
that's how they're gonna usher shit
and
in.
I'm
And
not
like
saying it's
that's
not
where
connected.
B that's where B is saying like they're connected, and you know they are, but like you need to start slowly and start like
The
don't just dump
fundamentals.
on
I
people.
mean,
But
your conspiracy theory
it's
friends,
true. Like,
fuck yeah, talk about digital IDs and how this is all connected, and the chip and all of that,
and
because
it
you
will
can
be, yeah, and
buy
how it
stuff
will, but
with your hand. Like, that's not crazy. But when you're out there in the media, or even talking to council, and at those things, like, let's just leave that part out for now.
yeah,
Put it in a diary, put it on a podcast, and then you can be
approach
like,
it
hi, I was right, I talked
more
about this months
realistically.
ago, right? But
Yeah.
like, who cares? Don't worry
Talk
about
about
that.
it more realistically
Let's
and not so like, yeah,
Right?
I
It's just
get
like
it.
when people hated us all smoking weed, and everyone's like, oh, we're so mad they won't let us advertise. And I was like, but there's people that think it's the devil's lettuce. So, for in order them to not see that, we have to come slowly and progress over time. And that's what I feel like with this. You can't just, like I said, adrenochrome drop on people that are just starting to wake up. Like, we went through that. There's a lot of us, I think most of us on the show went through a very fast and very brutal spiritual awakening to all of these things. And if you're not ready
The
to
way to
take
get
it,
to people isn't going to be dumping that shit on them, right?
exactly. You have to do things slowly and come at it like a fact based level of, this isn't going to work. Who cares about the digital
Yeah.
ID and all that? This isn't going to work. Sorry, guys. I'm going to try and edit out as many coughs as I possibly can because this is annoying. But yeah, so keep this as a flag. Look around. Is it getting better? Because I don't think so. What do you guys think? Is there a better way?
Too good to be true.
It's too good to be true, in my opinion. I just don't trust EddieGov ever. So, and it's like liberal NDP, no offense. Like, I'm not saying conservatives are good, but y'all really just like to throw money and do humanitarian things without like fully thinking those things through. And then all of a sudden we're like in super debt. So,
Well, they like to throw money at it and call it humanitarian, which you know damn well it's not.
Thank you, I'm so kind.
Good for me. Good for me.
Okay, cool. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this fourth episode. I've been loving these keeping up with Canada's. I mean, they're kind of a little bit scary sometimes and like a little bit stressful.
They're a little bit deeper and darker, but that's only because that's what we're trying to do, is bring light to things in Canada that you may not know about, that are being sneakily ushered in while we're all worried about stupid other shit
like
that doesn't have to do with our country half the time
100%.
because that's what they do.
Yes, or like even just like Taylor Swift and like whatever his name is, like, oh, and it's like, guys, they're trying to.
I feel like we're some of the only people that couldn't have given two fucks.
I do not.
Everyone I know is talking about them, and
I get so mad. I'm like, why? The only thing I like about her,
Pfizer's fucking.
Yeah, there's Pfizer's babies, and the only thing I like about her is she loves her cat as much as I love my cats. That's the only thing me and her have in common. I think she's a great artist. She's doing good with her music. She's all that, but I do think she's a puppet, and I do think that people get so focused on this stuff, myself used to be included, and that's why we want to talk about stuff like this, because you probably don't want to listen to the news and all that, and maybe maybe you weren't thinking about it, now you're going to think about it a little bit more, or maybe the algorithm will tune some of the stuff so you can see for yourself, right?
And bills like this are being ushered in when things like Taylor Swift and Travis are being, or the Kardashians or whoever else they card out for the distraction is there. You know what I mean? So this is the kind of stuff, like you said, you gotta keep your eyes extra peeled, because they do like to mask like passing things like this and little sneaky bills and
sneaky snakes
and shit like that. So
yeah, 100%. So number 4, hope you guys loved it. As this launches, we are heading into the holiday season, so hope you guys are having a great time. We're going to be going all the way through Christmas, New Year's, and then January is our last month of the season.
I know.
Isn't that fucking crazy? There's only going to be like 6 to 8 episodes left of this season. I'm so shocked. So thank you guys for listening.
They always go by so quick, right?
Thank you guys for listening. Kales, thank you for showing up today. Until next time, guys. Bye. Thank you guys for stopping by the show today. We appreciate you so much. If you like this episode and you want to hear more, make sure to show us some love on our Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest page, the Be Real Babe Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube and Rumble channels, like those episodes, and turn on the notification bells. You can find our video version of the show on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify, or you can catch the audio version on Apple and Google Podcast. But stay tuned for more realness coming to you soon. Until next time, babes.